Hello, esteemed listeners. This is Andre Bailey, and you are tuned into Kindred Spirits. I present to you my latest original narrative. Enjoy the story. Anna never imagined that a simple weekend gathering at the dacha would escalate into a full-blown domestic drama. Her husband Vitali had suggested inviting Anna's parents to celebrate the start of the dacha season together. The idea seemed wonderful. May holidays, pleasant weather, and barbecued meat outdoors. Who would have predicted such an embarrassing turn of events? The complication arose when Anna's mother-in-law, Larisa Germanovna, also decided to visit the dacha on the very same day. She wasn't alone, bringing along her daughter, Karina, who was already 35, but still lived with her mother and harbored a sense of entitlement. Anna and Vitali had been married for 5 years. Throughout this time, Anna had made persistent, though futile, efforts to foster a positive relationship with her mother-in-law. Larisa Germanovna deemed her an unsuitable match for her son, viewing Anna as an unsophisticated girl from what she disparagingly called a penniless family during their more heated exchanges. Anna's father, Sergei Dmitrievich, was a straightforward yet incredibly kind man. He had dedicated his life to his work as a factory engineer and had personally constructed the dacha where the entire group was now assembled. A man of many talents, he was also an exceptional cook, particularly skilled at preparing shashlik with a secret marinade. Upon Anna's parents' arrival at the dacha, Sergei Dmitrievich immediately volunteered to man the grill. Vitali enthusiastically supported his father-in-law's suggestion, and they proceeded to get the charcoal going. Anna and her mother, Galina Mikhailovna, remained on the veranda, busy with salads and appetizers. As evening approached and preparations were nearly complete, a black SUV gracefully pulled into the property. Out stepped Larisa Germanovna, exuding an air of grandeur in a white pantsuit entirely inappropriate for a country outing, followed by her daughter Karina in equally impractical heeled shoes. "Vitalik, darling!" Larisa Germanovna exclaimed, opening her arms wide. "We decided to surprise you." Vitali, visibly taken aback, embraced his mother and sister. "Mom, you didn't mention you were coming? Anna's parents are visiting today." "So what?" Larisa Germanovna scoffed. "This is your dacha, isn't it? Not theirs. Can't I visit my own son?" Technically, the dacha was registered in Vitali's name, having been inherited from his maternal grandfather. Anna and Vitali had invested considerable effort and funds into its renovation, but legally, it was his property. Things only went from bad to worse. After offering a curt greeting to Anna's parents, Larisa Germanovna began issuing directives as if she were the sole proprietor. She dismissed Galina Mikhailovna's salads as provincial and produced some exotic appetizers from her designer handbag, clearly purchased from an upscale supermarket. Anna fought to suppress her growing irritation, though her insides churned. Vitali, as was his habit, pretended nothing out of the ordinary was happening, offering polite smiles and attempting to be agreeable to everyone. His perennial tactic of non-intervention in conflicts between his wife and mother drove Anna to the brink of despair. However, the real storm broke when Sergei Dmitrievich removed the first batch of shashlik from the grill. He artfully arranged the succulent meat on a large platter and carried it to the table where everyone had gathered. "The shashlik is ready," he announced with pride. "Who's eager to try it first?" "Allow me to serve everyone," Sergei Dmitrievich offered, proceeding to plate the meat. When it was Larisa Germanovna and Karina's turn, the mother-in-law suddenly contorted her face. "And what kind of meat is this? I hope it's not pork." "It's pork, of course," Sergei Dmitrievich replied. "The finest neck cut, carefully selected." "We don't eat pork," Larisa Germanovna declared. "Karina has an allergy and I'm on a diet." This was a blatant fabrication. Anna knew perfectly well that Karina had no allergies, and Larisa Germanovna adored pork, especially cured ham, which she frequently ordered at restaurants. "Don't worry, I brought chicken," Larisa Germanovna announced, retrieving a container of marinated meat from her spacious bag. "Vitalik, dear, would you be so kind as to grill it for us?" Vitali, as always obedient to his mother's will, took the container and headed towards the grill. Anna felt a flush of shame spread across her face, embarrassed for her parents. Sergei Dmitrievich, aiming to ease the tension, selected a skewer with particularly juicy pieces of meat and approached Karina. Perhaps you might try this. It's my signature recipe, completely allergen-free. But before he could extend the skewer, Larisa Germanovna snatched it from Sergei Dmitrievich's grasp. "This is only for our family," she blurted out, handing the skewer to Karina. A heavy silence descended. Galina Mikhailovna turned pale. Anna stood frozen, her mouth agape. Vitaly, by the grill, offered a bewildered smile, as if oblivious to the unfolding scene. Sergei Dmitrievich slowly straightened up. A peculiar glint appeared in his eyes. He looked at Larisa Germanovna, then at Vitaly, and finally at his daughter. Then he broke into a wide smile. "You know what?" he said calmly. "I think I'll just be going." "Dad," Anna began, but her father stopped her with a gesture. Sergei Dmitrievich walked over to his wife, took her hand gently. "Galia, let's pack up. We're leaving." "But how can we—" Galina Mikhailovna stammered, flustered. "Now," Sergei Dmitrievich said firmly. He turned to his son-in-law. "Vitaly, I have one question for you. Do you agree with what your mother said? Are we penniless people to you?" Vitaly hesitated, glancing at his mother, then at his wife. "Mom didn't mean it like that. She just—" "I understand perfectly," Sergei Dmitrievich nodded. "Anechka, my dear daughter, are you coming with us or staying?" In that moment, Anna realized her father wasn't merely making a gesture. He was presenting her with a choice that could alter the course of her entire life. For 5 years, she had endured her mother-in-law's humiliation. For 5 years, Vitaly had failed to defend her. "I'm coming with you, Papa," Anna said firmly. She rose from the table and walked over to her husband. "Forgive me, Vitaly, but I can't live like this anymore. Call me when you're ready to talk without your mother." Disregarding Larisa Germanovna's indignant exclamations, Sergei Dmitrievich helped his wife and daughter gather their belongings. Before leaving, he returned to the grill, removed the remaining skewers of meat, carefully wrapped them in foil, and placed them in his bag. "I'm taking this with me," he stated calmly. "You all enjoy your chicken breast." As they were getting into the car, Vitaly ran onto the porch. "Anya, wait, you can't just leave like this?" "I can," Anna replied, "and I am. You know, I always thought love could overcome anything, but even love has its limits, and your mother just crossed them." Sergei Dmitrievich started the car, and they drove away, leaving a bewildered Vitaly standing on the dacha porch. That evening, sitting in their home kitchen, they finally finished the shashlik. It was extraordinarily delicious, despite the circumstances. Anna cried, not from sorrow, but rather from relief. "Thank you, Papa," she said, hugging her father, "for not staying silent, for taking me away from there." "You know, my dear," Sergei Dmitrievich replied, "there are things in life one cannot tolerate. It doesn't matter if a person is rich or poor. What matters is that they are a human being." A week later, Vitaly called Anna. He apologized profusely. "I told her I'd given my mother an ultimatum, that I was prepared to leave the dacha and buy a new one just for the two of us. But Anna had already made her decision. 5 years, Vitaly. 5 years you smiled while your mother humiliated me and my parents. It's not about the dacha, it's about you." The divorce proceeded, surprisingly peacefully. Larisa Germanovna did not appear at any of the hearings, seemingly wary of confronting Sergei Dmitrievich. Vitaly did not contest the division of property. He was too ashamed. A year later, Anna met Artyom, an architect working on the restoration of a historical building in their town. Artyom was kind, open, and most importantly to Anna, he knew how to stand up for himself and his loved ones. When Artyom first came to meet Anna's parents, Sergei Dmitrievich, naturally, prepared his signature shashlik. After dinner, when they were alone on the veranda, Artyom unexpectedly said, "You know, Sergei Dmitrievich, Anya told me about her former mother-in-law. I want you to know, I will never allow anyone to treat your daughter or you in such a manner." Sergei Dmitrievich smiled and firmly shook the hand of his future son-in-law. At Anna and Artyom's wedding, held at a charming countryside restaurant, Sergei Dmitrievich proposed a toast to a true family, not one where individuals consider themselves superior to others, but one where everyone is equal in their right to happiness and respect. And a year later, when Anna and Artyom welcomed a daughter, they named her Valentina in honor of Artyom's grandmother. Sergei Dmitrievich visited every weekend, often bringing shashlik wrapped in foil. And each time, looking at his daughter's joyful face, he knew that the decisive step taken at the dacha had been the most correct decision of his life. As for Vitaly, he continued to live with his mother and sister. Anna occasionally encountered him in town. He appeared aged and weary. Once he attempted to speak with her, saying he regretted what had happened and that he still loved her, but Anna simply shook her head. "You know, Vitaly, I am grateful to your mother for that shashlik. It helped me understand that some things are priceless, like self-respect and a father's love." 5 years after those events, Anna, her husband and their daughter bought a dacha, located very close to her parents' property. Now every weekend they gathered as a large, close-knit family. And when Sergei Dmitrievich prepared his famous shashlik, everyone knew it wasn't just food. It was a symbol of their family unity, which had withstood a trial and emerged even stronger. And Larisa Germanovna, they say, still tells acquaintances how her daughter-in-law abandoned her son over some shashlik. The only issue is, no one believes her stories anymore because a true family is not where people boast to each other, but where they support one another. And Sergei Dmitrievich knew this better than anyone.